They want you gone, not because you're weak, but because you're becoming unstoppable. Chosen one, listen carefully. You're not imagining it. There's a quiet operation going on right now, and its target is you. Someone is trying to remove you from the very place you earned through pain, loyalty, and patience. They can't outwork you, so they've chosen to out-scheme you. This isn't drama, it's strategy. When you start threatening the comfort of the mediocre, the whispers begin. That's how the universe tests how bad you really want to stay on your throne. It always starts small. A smile that doesn't reach their eyes. A compliment that sounds rehearsed. They act like they're helping you, but their help feels heavy, like it's meant to crush you slowly. That's not coincidence, that's coordination. The universe doesn't warn you through thunder, it warns you through patterns. And right now, the pattern is clear. Someone is using charm as camouflage. They're twisting your words, bending your image, and building a story where you're the villain. That's how they plan to kick you out, by making others believe you don't belong in the room you built with your own sweat. Thank you, Chosen One, for being here. Don't forget to return the energy by liking this message and subscribing. It helps this truth reach more souls like yours. You're part of a force that keeps the light alive in a world that rewards manipulation. Stay sharp. Stay with me. Let's expose what's really happening. Now back to our reality. When the universe starts moving people around, it's never random. You were placed where you are for a reason, and the ones trying to push you out can feel that reason burning through their insecurities. You're not the problem. They're allergic to accountability. You remind them of everything they failed to become. That's why they gossip instead of grind. You shine without trying, and that's dangerous in a world addicted to fake confidence. It's funny how these planners always use someone close to you. They know they can't reach you directly, so they weaponize familiarity. They'll find someone who knows your habits, your weaknesses, your emotional triggers. They'll pretend it's concern, but it's reconnaissance. You'll notice how that person starts fishing for details, innocent questions that don't feel so innocent anymore. That's how they gather data. They're building a case, not a connection. But here's the irony. The universe lets this happen because it needs to reveal the snakes before your next season starts. The closer you get to elevation, the clearer the masks become. People will smile with their teeth but talk with their fear. They don't want to remove you because you failed. They want to remove you before you prove them wrong. Every empire builder goes through this phase. They called it betrayal. History calls it transformation. You've felt that subtle shift lately, the energy in the room when you walk in, the awkward silence when you start speaking. That's not in your head. They've already started setting the stage, whispering doubts into ears that don't even know you. But let them talk. Let them form their committees of insecurity. Because while they're plotting your removal, the universe is writing their replacement. Every false story they tell only exposes their own fear. Truth moves slower than gossip, but it always finishes the race. There's a reason powerful people get attacked in silence. Loud enemies are easy to beat. The quiet ones, the ones who pretend to care, are the real threat. They operate like viruses, unseen until they've already spread. But you're not defenseless. Your awareness is your armor. When you stop reacting, you starve them of control. That's when their plans start falling apart. They can't stand calm energy because it makes their chaos obvious. Chosen One, this isn't punishment, it's preparation. The universe doesn't let the weak play with wolves. It's letting you see how fake loyalty behaves when power shifts. Every fake smile is evidence. Every rumor is proof that your presence holds weight. Think about it. No one wastes energy plotting against people who don't matter. You're being targeted because you're transforming from threat to legacy. Let them try to kick you out. They're only pushing you toward your next level. Every plan they design will collapse under the weight of your purpose. That's not superstition, that's physics. Energy moves in cycles, and theirs is running out. You've got momentum, clarity, and something they'll never understand: alignment. When you walk with integrity, the universe rearranges itself to protect you. So stay silent. Watch everything. Let your peace be the loudest response, because nothing terrifies a manipulator more than a target who knows exactly what's going on but refuses to play along. You don't need revenge. You just need to outlast their illusion. And you will, because you're not fighting for a seat at their table anymore. You're building your own. They planned to kick you out. Instead, they handed you the blueprint for independence. And chosen one, before we move forward, take a second and breathe this in. The fact that you're even watching this means you're already ahead of their game. They think they're planning in secret, but they didn't see this message reaching you first. That's the beauty of being chosen. Your timing always ruins their timing. If you're still here, it means you're the type that doesn't fold under pressure. You study it. So if this is hitting different, drop a 777 in the comments to lock in your energy and let the enemy know you see through the fog now. If you feel this message is speaking to you in ways words can't explain, consider dropping a super thanks to the squad behind this truth. Whether it's a penny or power move, it fuels the fire and keeps this mission alive. This isn't just content, it's protection disguised as wisdom. And trust me, you'll want to stick around, because what's coming next is where things get real surgical. Now let's keep going, because if someone's bold enough to plot your removal, you better believe they're not finished yet, and neither are we. Let's keep the light on them. Number 1. Smiles that stab, the silent plot to erase you. They don't want your spot, they want your silence, because as long as you speak, they stay exposed. This is how they do it. They smile in your face like you're a guest in a room you built. They offer praise laced with envy, ask questions not to learn, but to gather ammunition. And you, chosen one, who walks with presence so powerful it shifts energy without saying a word. You've felt it, that strange chill behind the compliments, that eerie silence after you leave the room, that sudden change in someone's tone once you started leveling up. That's not paranoia, that's precision. You're watching snakes shapeshift in real time, and your awareness is your greatest weapon. Why are they doing this? Simple. You're becoming undeniable. They can't control you, so now they're plotting to remove you, but they won't come at you head on. That would take courage. Instead, they're trying to assassinate your character in whispers. They use concern as camouflage. They'll say you're changing, getting distant, not a team player. But what they're really saying is, you've grown past their leash. These aren't just haters, these are architects of deception, people who study you just enough to twist your image. They don't attack your flaws, they manufacture them. They'll use someone close to you, someone who knows your routines, your insecurities, your history, because they know you'd never suspect the one who once stood beside you. That's how they get in, not through force, but through trust. That's why it hurts. That's why it hits deep. Because it feels like betrayal, but it's really a badge. Only those who rise get betrayed like this. You might ask, why me? Why would someone go through all this effort just to kick me out? And the answer is brutal. They've studied the room and realized you're the only one who can't be controlled. You're not there to impress anyone. You're there because you earned it, and that scares them. You're a mirror that reflects their laziness, their jealousy, their hidden insecurities. They need you gone, not because you're a problem, but because you're the proof of what they're not willing to become. But here's the catch: they don't realize who they're messing with. You weren't placed here by accident. You were forged in storms they've never survived. You've walked through emotional minefields, healed in silence, and kept moving when everything inside you was breaking. And now that you're rising, they want to sabotage the light they couldn't dim. Please, their plan is already failing, because no matter how many rumors they start, the truth always echoes louder. You don't need to fight dirty. Your power is in your silence. The more you grow, the more they'll show themselves. They'll slip. They always do. And when they do, their masks will fall, not because you expose them, but because their lies couldn't hold under your truth. So keep building, keep walking, keep owning your space, because the same ones trying to kick you out are actually setting the stage for your takeover. And when their fake smiles fade and their plots collapse, don't even gloat. Just watch. Watch how the room that once doubted you now leans in when you speak. Watch how the silence they tried to bury you in becomes the stage where your voice echoes. And watch how the ones who planned your exit can't stop your entrance. Number 2, they watched you climb but never clapped. Some people never hated you, they just hated that they couldn't keep you beneath them. Let's talk about the eyes, the ones that never sparkled when you won, the ones that stayed quiet when everyone else was clapping for you. They weren't being humble, they were being strategic. Chosen one, you've been watched since day one. But not with admiration, with calculation. They didn't celebrate your growth, they studied it. They didn't uplift your name. They documented it, twisted it, fed it into their silent agenda. And now, that agenda has a goal. Remove you before you rise beyond reach. Imagine this: you're climbing a mountain with your bare hands while others took the elevator. You're bleeding, tired, but every step is real. Then, just before you reach the top, someone pretends they care and offers you help, only to pull your hand away when you're mid-air. That's the kind of sabotage you're dealing with. Quiet, smiling, timed. It's not competition, it's attempted erasure. They don't attack your wins, they question how you got them. See, some people aren't just envious of what you've done, they're terrified of what you might do next. They've seen your strength. They've watched you grow past what tried to break you, and now, instead of building themselves up, they've made tearing you down their full-time mission. Why? Because your presence exposes their laziness. Your confidence shakes their illusion of control. You didn't wait to be invited to the table. You brought your own damn chair. And that's exactly why their energy shifted. Ever wondered why the support gets quieter the more you level up? That's not random. That's resentment growing in silence. They clapped for you when you were predictable, manageable, easy to label, but now you're evolving too fast. You're becoming too sharp. You're no longer asking for permission, and that scares them, because they can't manipulate what they can't define. Behind closed doors, your name has already been passed around like gossip dressed as concern. They don't say, "You're powerful." They say, "You've changed." They don't say, "You inspire me." They say, "I don't know if we can trust them anymore." They're rewriting your story in rooms you've never even stepped into. But remember this: you don't need to defend yourself when the truth walks louder than any lie. Let that sit, because every fake narrative being written about you is unknowingly becoming their own confession. The more they talk, the more they reveal who they really are. They're playing checkers in a game of chess, and they forgot the board belongs to you. Imagine your story like a surveillance camera. You've been recorded the entire time. Your integrity, your silence, your consistency, the lies being built against you. They're only adding timestamps to the footage that will clear your name. The truth doesn't need your panic. It doesn't need you to chase it. Truth has a heartbeat of its own, and it always outlives gossip. Still wondering, why would someone do this to me? Because you became what they were pretending to be. Because you stopped needing validation. Because your glow is too authentic to fake. They don't hate you. They hate how real you stayed while they were busy building cardboard versions of success. You became a mirror, and mirrors don't lie. That's why they avoid your eyes now. That's why the support turned into silence. You were never too much. You were just too real for their agenda. So what now? Do you fight back? Expose them? No. You rise. You get quieter. You move smarter. You become unshakable. Because the real flex isn't proving them wrong. It's making them irrelevant. When you keep showing up, keep speaking truth, keep evolving, they'll drown in the noise of their own insecurities. And the universe? Oh, it's watching everything. The same way they watched you to destroy you, the universe is watching them to protect you. The plan to kick you out is real, but so is your preparation. You've been built for this. Every betrayal added armor. Every lie sharpened your mind. Every fake smile made your intuition bulletproof. They think they've got the upper hand, but they don't know you've already sensed it. They're playing with old data, and you're running on a new frequency now. Imagine a fire they tried to put out, but every time they poured water, it turned to gasoline. That's your energy. You can't be erased. You multiply. So let them watch. Let them twist your name. Let them whisper in hallways and smile in your face. Just remember this. You were never invited to fit in. You were chosen to stand out. And what they're planning in secret, the universe is already reversing it in public. You won't need revenge. You'll have results. You won't need to prove anything. Your presence will do all the talking. Chosen one, this isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. So sharpen your focus. Don't shrink. Don't beg. Don't explain. Let your silence carry weight. Let your next move be so loud it drowns out every whisper. Because at the end of the day, the eyes that never celebrated you are the ones that feared your arrival the most. And the real kicker? You're just getting started. Number 3. Your glow made their darkness itch. They didn't want your light dimmed. They wanted it dead because it exposed everything fake about them. This was never about rules, logic, or fairness. This was about how your presence made them squirm. You walk into a room and the temperature shifts, not because you're loud, but because you're real. That's what rattled them. Your peace wasn't just protection, it was provocation. You weren't trying to compete, but you still stood out. You weren't trying to prove anything, and that's what made them panic. Because deep down, they knew you were the real thing. You ever notice how roaches scatter when the lights come on? That's exactly how fake people react to your authenticity. You didn't expose them by calling them out. You exposed them just by existing. They wanted your glow, but didn't want to earn it. They tried to study your calm, mimic your strength, copy your presence. But light can't be imitated. It can only be earned through fire, and they never walked through yours. Your silence wasn't weakness. It was a mirror, and they hated what they saw. So now they're left with stories, fabricated ones. They've built a whole campaign out of lies because facts weren't enough to take you down. But here's the plot twist. While they were busy crafting narratives, you were building legacy. While they spoke, you moved. And the universe respects movement more than noise. That's why your silence is louder than their gossip. It carries power. Stillness is their biggest fear because they know truth moves in quiet. They wanted you reactive, they wanted you defensive, but instead you stayed grounded, and that's why they're unraveling. Peace is a language their chaos doesn't speak, and now their own people are starting to question the version of you they were sold. It's collapsing, and you didn't even lift a finger. Let them talk, let them choke on their own script. Your light didn't just expose their shadows, it burned through their disguise, and now there's nowhere left to hide. Number 4. Their lies are leaking through the cracks. The truth doesn't kick doors down, it seeps in through the cracks they forgot to seal. They sent someone to monitor you, let's not sugarcoat it. A fake ally with a smile, pretending to care while collecting everything they could use against you. Your habits, your slip-ups, your quiet thoughts, spoken in trust, all gathered and passed along like classified intel. But here's the thing about playing spy. Guilt is a loud traitor. It starts small, a shaky voice, an accidental message, a delay in eye contact, and before long, the mask slips. One forwarded text, one wrong reply, one nervous stutter, and the truth leaks like a broken faucet, slowly, steadily, until the whole plan floods. They were counting on silence. They forgot silence records everything. Their calm is crumbling. Their chest feels tighter every time your name comes up. They know they played dirty, and now they're realizing the walls are closing in. You're not paranoid, you're precise. That eerie feeling you've had lately, that was your inner warning system lighting up. You're not being pushed out, you're being pulled toward where you actually belong. You're not losing favor, you're gaining clarity. And their plan, it's not just failing, it's collapsing under its own weight. Imagine this, a house built on stolen bricks, each one inscribed with your name. The moment rain hits, those bricks wash clean, and suddenly your name is everywhere. This isn't karma, it's cause and effect. You were never the villain in their story, you were just the mirror, the proof that loyalty and power can exist in one person without being corrupted. They couldn't handle that. So they twisted the narrative. But truth isn't something you need to scream, it just waits. And right now, it's knocking. The same hands that wrote lies about you are now trembling at the thought of being exposed by their own receipts. You don't need revenge, you don't need proof. The universe has a cruelly poetic way of letting betrayal unravel itself. All you have to do is keep walking like you already know how it ends, because you do. Number 5. Cracks in the cover-up. Lies rot from the inside out, and right now their story is starting to stink. It always starts small. A message sent to the wrong person, a look of panic when you enter the room, a sudden change in tone, like they just hit pause on something they didn't want you to hear. These aren't accidents. These are slip-ups. These are the soft sounds of guilt trying to hide behind routine. You're not just imagining the tension, chosen one. It's real. It's exposure, beginning in whispers, ending in collapse. Someone thought they could play you, observe you, use your own life as fuel for a takedown, but now their nerves are twitching, their fake calm is cracking, they're afraid to check their phone because they don't remember what they sent, or who they sent it to. They're praying the wrong tab wasn't left open, that the wrong person doesn't start asking the right questions, because one person with power is already watching, and they're connecting dots fast. The thing about fake stories is they can't survive a single honest question, and now the questions are starting. The silent observer who sat back and watched it all unfold, they're shifting. Something feels off to them now, and when they speak, when the right voice finally rises, the narrative flips like a light switch. Every lie told about you becomes proof of manipulation. Every attempt to shame you becomes a spotlight on your strength. The very setup designed to end you becomes the reason people respect you more. Imagine standing in the middle of a staged crime scene and the one who tried to frame you drops the mask mid-performance. That's what's about to happen. Don't strike back, don't explain, just stand tall, because your peace is doing more damage than your anger ever could. The calm you kept, it made them loud, and now their volume is giving them away. You didn't retaliate, because you didn't need to. Exposure doesn't need backup when the truth is loud enough to stand on its own, and right now, it's about to shout. Number 6. When the hunters become the hunted. Every trap has two victims, the one it catches and the one who set it. The plan they built with such confidence is starting to fold in on itself. The lies are tripping over their own legs. Every rumor, every fake accusation, every whispered manipulation, it's all looping back to its source. The same web they spun to catch you is now choking the very hands that wove it. That's not luck, that's gravity. What goes up in deceit always crashes down in exposure. You've probably noticed the energy shift. The same people who once smirked in meetings now avoid your eyes. Their group chats have gone quiet. The laughter sounds forced. The mask is melting because guilt sweats. And when one of them slips, and they will, the rest will collapse like dominoes made of secrets. They'll start blaming each other, leaking information, trying to rewrite their roles. But you don't have to lift a finger. The universe handles poetic justice better than you ever could. The silence they mocked is now the loudest voice in the room. Your restraint is destroying them. You didn't clap back. You didn't expose anyone. You just kept walking, working, glowing, and that was enough. The truth doesn't need an audience. It only needs time, and time is finally on your side. Imagine a courtroom without walls, where every whisper they once used against you echoes back, but this time with names attached. That's where they're standing now, beneath the weight of their own script. Their show is over, the curtains lifting, all that fake confidence, the overacting, the forced innocence, it's unraveling scene by scene. They were performers playing loyalty while secretly rehearsing betrayal. But the spotlight has shifted, and now it's burning through their disguise. You didn't walk through fire to be destroyed. You walked through it to be refined. You didn't lose anything real. You lost what was pretending. This isn't revenge, it's revelation. The tables aren't just turning, they're flipping over with force. Every lie is becoming your evidence. Every smear is turning into your spotlight. And the same people who tried to write you out of the story are now realizing you were the story all along. Number 7. When the energy shifts, so does the power. They tried to shut the door, but forgot you don't need doors when you carry the whole damn building. Chosen one, take a breath and look around. You feel that shift, don't you? That calm in your chest, that stillness in your spirit. It's not just peace, it's alignment. The tables have already turned, and the energy has flipped in your favor. What once looked like rejection was redirection. What once felt like sabotage was set up. They tried to ruin you with shadows, but all they did was teach you how to walk in silence and strike in light. Your peace became the pause that exposed their panic. People don't speak as loud when they're losing control. Notice how quiet it's gotten. The ones who used to talk the most about you are now whispering behind doors that won't open. The alliances built on gossip are cracking. The audience they gathered is leaving. Why? Because truth has its own gravity, and you, chosen one, are standing in the middle of it, calm, focused, unbothered. Imagine this: someone built a cage hoping to trap you, but while they celebrated your confinement, you were growing wings. That's exactly what happened. You didn't fight for attention. You didn't beg for clarity. You just became undeniable. You let the storm refine your focus, and now that the rain has stopped, they're realizing you're still here and stronger than ever. The same mouths that once questioned you are now defending you, not because they suddenly like you, but because your strength is now undeniable. That's the twist. You didn't force respect. You became too powerful to ignore. They thought you were breaking. You were actually being built. You're not waiting on your breakthrough. You're already walking in it. The doors they slammed in your face are now swinging open on their own. Why? Because they were never locked. They were just timed. And now it's your moment. Everything is shifting in your favor because you were never out of alignment. You were just being prepared. Let them watch. Let them wonder how you stayed so calm. Let them feel the weight of what they tried to destroy. Because now your presence is the proof, and your silence, it's the loudest victory speech of all. Number 8. The rise they couldn't block. You were never erased, you were replanted, and now you're blooming in soil they never thought you'd survive. They thought it was over. They thought their silence would smother you, that their rejection would reduce you. But chosen one, you were never removed. You were repositioned. What looked like a setback was the quiet setup for your elevation. They mistook your stillness for weakness, but your stillness was strategy. Your silence was strength going undercover. And now, without shouting, you're rising, louder than any lie they ever told. They tried to bury you, but they didn't realize you were a seed. The shift is happening in real time. Places that closed their doors on you are now holding those doors open longer, hoping you'll walk back through. People who mocked your distance are now imitating your discipline. They used your grace as proof you were soft, but now that same grace is the reason you're respected. You didn't retaliate. You didn't break. You stayed grounded while they fumbled, trying to twist your name into something forgettable. And now, you've become unforgettable. Imagine being pushed out of a circle only to become the center of your own. That's exactly what this moment is. Your peace didn't just protect you, it announced you. Your restraint became a crown they never saw coming. And while they were celebrating your so-called fall, the universe was just reloading your next level. The whispers are getting quiet now, aren't they? That's because your results are starting to speak. The ones who once watched from a distance are now looking up. And the best part? You didn't force it. You didn't beg. You just stayed in motion. You kept walking when they waited for you to collapse. And now you're rising in full view. You weren't just built different. You were built to rise where they tried to break you. This is your release. This is your return. This is your rise. And it's only just begun. Number 9. From exile to excellence. They tried to break you in private, but now they have to watch you win in peace. Everything they threw at you, the betrayal, the whispers, the isolation, it didn't destroy you, it matured you. Every wound they caused became a blueprint. Every insult became instruction. You didn't just survive it, you studied it. And now, you've outgrown the battlefield they trapped you in. You're not rising with noise, you're rising with knowing. That's the sacred turnaround. Turning pain into power so effortlessly, it looks like magic. They wanted you gone. Instead, you became grounded. You're no longer seeking approval. You're no longer bending to fit into places that never saw your value. The pretending, over. The proving, done. You're moving in truth now, quiet, clear, unapologetic. And the same ones who tried to cast you out? They're silent now, not because they've changed, but because your glow makes noise they can't talk over. Imagine being locked out of a room you helped build, only to be handed the keys to a palace they'll never enter. That's where you are now. You were never meant to stay small, to make others feel big. You were meant to walk with light so unbothered it makes enemies question their entire script. You didn't get here through revenge. You didn't beg to be seen. You just kept moving forward while the lies collapsed behind you. That's the kind of victory that lasts, the kind built in silence and delivered in clarity. Your storm didn't sink you. It sanctified you. You're not just free, you're finally yourself. The same storm that tried to drown you became the wind that lifted your wings. This is your sacred turnaround, the moment where everything flips, not because you forced it, but because you deserved it. The chaos is fading, the peace is real, and the throne they tried to steal from you, it was never theirs to sit on. Number 10, the day they choke on their own script. They tried to write you out of the story. Now they have to watch you become the headline. That tension in the air, that shift you've been feeling in your gut, it's not fear, it's balance being restored. What they thought was anxiety creeping up on you is actually the universe flipping the script in real time. Justice isn't some distant hope. It's already in motion, quiet, precise, relentless, and the ones who threw dirt on your name, they're now face to face with the roots they accidentally watered. The same mouths that gossiped your downfall are now forced to pronounce your rise. It's wild how quick the energy changes. Doors they slammed are now swinging wide open, not out of kindness, but because they realize they can't stop what's coming. The illusion they built, shattered. The lies they stacked like bricks, crumbling. And the wildest part, you didn't have to raise your voice once. You stood still while the truth marched with a megaphone. They thought your calm was surrender. They didn't realize it was strategy. You weren't frozen, you were focused. You weren't defeated, you were delivered. They confused your patience with passivity, but now they're learning the hard way. Silence doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes it's just the sound of power loading. Imagine standing in the middle of a battlefield, untouched, while those who plotted your fall start turning on each other. That's what justice looks like. The shift isn't about revenge, it's about restoration. This isn't karma, this is correction. What was taken from you is coming back multiplied. What was spoken against you is now echoing back on them with a twist of irony. And no, this isn't luck. This is alignment. You were never out of place. You were just placed ahead of your time. The truth moves slow, but when it shows up, it leaves no survivors. Let them squirm, let them watch, let them wonder how you survived what was meant to bury you. The answer is simple. You were never built to break. You were built to rise, right in front of the ones who swore you wouldn't. Justice isn't coming. It's already here, and this time you're the headline. Number 11, the rise they couldn't rewrite. They built their strategy like you were staying small. Now they're choking on the size of your comeback. Chosen one, you're not rising. You already rose. What they thought would break you only branded you with clarity. The fire didn't leave scars. It carved out strength. You're standing on the edge of something massive, and deep down, you know it. That strange calm you feel, That's not peace from the outside, that's power waking up on the inside. You didn't just survive their scheme, you outgrew their imagination. They thought they had control. They thought they could write your ending while you were still writing your intro. But power built on fear always folds. The same people who tried to block your shine are now standing in your shadow. And it's poetic. The rejection they fed you, it became your redirection. You weren't being kept out, you were being pulled forward. You weren't delayed, you were being built in silence for a debut that couldn't be ignored. This isn't revenge. You're not rising to prove them wrong. You're rising because revelation lit a fire under your purpose. You saw the lies, the fake alliances, the small-minded games, and you chose not to shrink. You didn't scream, you didn't fight dirty, you leveled up, and now the room that once doubted you is turning into your stage. Imagine a storm so loud, everyone thought the roof would cave in, but instead the roof lifted off and revealed the sky. That's your story. They tried to trap you, they tried to limit you, but now you're too big to be boxed. Their gossip has run out of breath, their schemes expired, the energy has flipped completely, and you're the force in the room now. You didn't get lucky, you got aligned. This is your harvest, this is your moment. You're not just rising, you're becoming undeniable. And the beauty of it all, they can't stop it. They never could. Your name carries weight because you paid for it in silence, in storms, and in strength. Now, step fully into that recognition. This isn't just your rise, it's your arrival. Number 12. The crown they tried to bury. They rejected you like a mistake. Now you're rising like the blueprint. This isn't just a win. This is a coronation, a moment that couldn't be delayed any longer. Every bruise you took, every tear you swallowed in silence, every door slammed in your face, it all built this moment. You're not who you used to be. You've died 1,000 emotional deaths and resurrected wiser every time. What they tried to erase has become the foundation of everything you're stepping into now. They never saw this coming. You were too quiet, too calm. They thought they had time to twist the story, time to keep you beneath them. But while they were busy plotting, you were transforming, quietly, violently, beautifully. The person they targeted no longer exists, and the version of you standing here now, untouchable, unshakable, unbothered. You didn't just heal, you evolved. And evolution doesn't ask for permission. This is your rebirth. This is what a real glow-up looks like. Not loud, not forced, just undeniable. You're not begging for respect anymore. You're commanding it with presence alone. You don't walk in rooms hoping they accept you. You walk in and change the temperature. You became the revelation birthed from betrayal. The walking proof that manipulation may move fast, but integrity always finishes stronger. Imagine being thrown out like scrap, only to be rebuilt into something royal. That's you. You were the stone they tossed aside. Now you're the foundation they need to stand on. Their silence doesn't shake you anymore. Their absence doesn't sting, because you've outgrown the stage they tried to lock you out of. Everything they tried to take is returning, multiplied. The air around you feels different now. That's not a shift, that's release. The weight you've carried for so long is being lifted. Not because they apologized, but because you no longer need closure from people who were never qualified to hold your crown. You're not just rising, you're being crowned. This is your divine coronation. And no one, not the doubters, the manipulators, or the ones who stayed silent, can stop it. They watched you suffer. Now they'll watch you reign. Number 13. The apologies you'll never hear. They'll never say, "I'm sorry," but their silence screams it every time they see you shining. They know what they did, and no, you're not crazy for still feeling it in the air when they're around. That shift in their voice, that awkward tension, that forced smile, that sudden avoidance. Guilt doesn't need a mic. It performs all on its own. And the ones who hurt you? They're wearing it like a mask that's starting to crack. You'll never get the apology, but you'll get something better. Their quiet, uncomfortable respect. They swallowed their guilt like poison, hoping it wouldn't show, but it's leaking from their eyes. They won't admit it, but they're watching. They check on you from behind fake accounts. They replay the moments where they betrayed you, hoping to rewrite it in their heads. But the damage is done, and now they're haunted by what they gave up. You were the real one, the loyal one, the energy they'll never feel again. You became unforgettable, and that's the punishment they didn't see coming. They thought your silence meant weakness, but now that you've gone quiet, they realize just how loud your presence used to be. You didn't chase them, you didn't beg for closure, you just became too powerful to reach. And that stings more than any confrontation ever could. Imagine pushing away the sun and spending the rest of your life cold. That's what they did. And now they live with the weight of knowing they can't come back. Pride won't let them apologize, and time won't let them forget. Every win you get is a reminder. Every new level you unlock burns a little deeper. They didn't just lose you, they lost access to everything that made them feel important. Let them sit in it. Don't lower yourself for a confession that's never coming. You don't need their words. You've got their regret, and it's louder than any "I'm sorry" could ever be. Number 14. The room is watching now. They laughed when you were quiet. Now they go silent when you enter the room. At first, they thought they got away with it. They whispered behind your back, played the victim in stories they created, and smiled in public like nothing happened. But the room isn't blind anymore. People are watching. The ones who stayed silent during your storm are suddenly alert. The energy has shifted, and the truth has started breathing through the cracks. They used to have the crowd on their side, but slowly the applause faded. Not because you begged for justice, but because your presence started exposing the lies just by existing. The same people who once believed the gossip now sense something's off. They feel the tension when your name comes up. They notice the way certain people get uncomfortable when you're around. That's not paranoia. That's revelation unfolding in real time. Truth doesn't rush. It lets them dig their own grave, then shows up to narrate the downfall. Now the same room that once doubted you leans in when you speak. The same people who ignored your silence now notice everything you don't say. You're not rising in the shadows anymore. You're rising in front of the very ones who tried to keep you small. And the craziest part, they can't stop it. They can't even explain it. Imagine a room that used to echo with your absence, now falling quiet just to hear you breathe. That's the shift. That's the justice. And every fake supporter, every masked friend, every manipulator, they feel it. The respect they tried to block is now public. The power they mocked is now magnetic. You didn't demand the spotlight. You became too undeniable to ignore. Let them watch. Let the room turn. Let their silence expose what their mouths can't admit. You never needed a crowd to confirm your worth. But now that the eyes are open, they'll finally see what you've always known. You were the light the whole time. Number 15. Your absence is the loudest thing they hear. They thought you were replaceable until the silence you left started screaming. You didn't storm out. You didn't burn bridges. You just pulled back. Quietly, strategically, And now, that silence is deafening. Your absence is a vacuum they can't fill. They tried to move on like you were just another piece on their board. But here's the truth. They weren't ready for the emptiness you left behind. Because you didn't just occupy space, you shifted the whole atmosphere. They thought they'd be fine without you, that someone else could match your energy, your insight, your loyalty. But what they're realizing now is brutal. There's no replica for real. You weren't just involved, you were the heartbeat. And now that you're gone, the rhythm is off. The conversations feel different, the success feels hollow, the light feels dimmer. You don't need to slam a door for them to notice you're gone. Some exits echo louder when walked away from in silence. They scroll through your page in secret. They replay old messages like, maybe, just maybe, the connection could be revived. But they'll never admit it. Their pride is too loud, and your growth is too far ahead. They underestimated the power of your presence until your absence became the ghost they couldn't shake. Imagine a stage where the main act disappears mid-show, and no matter how many people they bring on, the crowd just keeps waiting for you. That's the level you're on now. You were never just part of the circle. You were the reason it had gravity. They didn't lose you. They lost access to peace, power, and presence, and now they're starving for what they once took for granted. Don't look back. Don't explain. Don't shrink. Let the emptiness speak. Let them sit in the void they created. You don't have to prove your value. You proved it by walking away and leaving a silence so loud they still hear you every time they try to pretend you never mattered. Chosen one, if this message hit you deep, it's because it was meant for you. Everything they tried to break in you has only made you stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. Your rise is no longer a question, it's a guarantee. Let them watch. Let them feel your absence. Let them choke on the truth they tried to bury. If you haven't already, press that like button to push this truth further. And if you're still not part of this powerful family, subscribe now, because this isn't just a channel, it's a movement. Your seat at the top is already waiting.